Happy Saturday, two-channel listening fans, and welcome back for what's episode number 14. This particular episode is going to be a departure from my normal audio review where I have a new piece of used gear for you guys and I cover off on its high points and its low points. I've been promising you a different kind of interview from what you guys usually view out there in YouTube land. And before I get started on who my guest is, I also just want to say, as of last night, channel hit 1,000 subscribers, and I couldn't be more grateful. It's been a very short 3 months, if you think about it from that perspective, to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I feel things are going in the right direction, and this format of reviewing high quality used gears is working and it's meshing well with a bunch of you guys. So I really do appreciate all the support out there, and thank you to all the subscribers for making the 1,000 mark happen last night. So awesome. Now, normally you guys see me in my goofy shirt of the week, but the particular guest that I have on today kind of made me look like a grumpy old dump truck, so I had to get dressed up for this interview and get prepared for it. I've only been married to her for 21 years, mind you, but it's been an awesome 21 years, and this episode of Married to an Audiophile couldn't happen without my lovely wife, Amanda, so I'm going to welcome Amanda to the show. Come on, Amanda. So, we agreed to do seven different questions. And the purpose of this episode is in the 10 years that I've been involved in the hobby, I can say that, especially now that I have the data with YouTube after 3 months of all of my episodes, I have only a 0.3% female viewership. And when you go through the channels, you go through Instagram, there's just so few, I would say, female enthusiast into the audio hobby itself. Mm-hmm. So as somebody who's been with me through this journey, and you've seen all the changes to the equipment, and you've been exposed as, kind of a third party person to what the audio world's been, what the music reproduction has been, and obviously all the money that I've spent towards it, I really wanted to have your viewput and share it with my viewers, and to get basically the spouse's perspective of what this hobby's been like. So first question, let's just dive into it. When did you first take notice of this, or when did you first feel that my appreciation for hi-fi had its effect on you?
Well, I have always enjoyed casually listening to music, yet never gave much thought to the quality of playback.
Right.
And I would just flip through the radio stations and
especially in our cars.
Yeah, in the cars mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was never exposed to a wide variety of genres. I would just kind of flip through and all the recycled top hits,
right.
Right. And it would get kind of old after a while.
Right.
And as you began your journey into the audio world, you kind of helped to expose me to the variety of music,
right.
Which I never heard before,
mm-hmm.
New music. And I really enjoyed that a lot.
Good.
And you also raised music from the dead.
Hmm. Cool.
Do you think your viewers know what that means?
I'll let them do the guessing.
Okay. Oldies but goodies. So if you told my younger self
mm-hmm.
that I would soon grow to love bluegrass,
right,
or classical music,
right,
I probably would have laughed pretty hard and told you were crazy.
I can agree with that. I came from a similar perspective.
I didn't think it was possible to achieve superior sound.
Okay.
Without experiencing the music live.
Right.
I thought you actually had to be at the concert.
And so you thought only really that live music, only the being in front of a concert, was the best way to get that experience, and it couldn't be reproduced in a car or home, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I always thought in the past.
All right.
That was until when we lived in Northern California. I think it was at our Newcastle house.
Yes.
And you bought a pair of, was it Klipsch? Cornwalls?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those big birch coffins. Yep.
How big were they?
They were 24 inches across, and they were three feet tall. Just big square boxes almost.
That's right. Yeah, I remember now.
1981.
The year I was born. What a good year.
Yes.
That's why I liked him so much. Anyway, wow. I thought that those were amazing.
Yeah.
The sound was just incredible, and it just felt so real, almost like you were at a live concert. It was such good quality, and I say it's better quality than going to like a concert.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because you don't have all the unwanted background distractions,
Yes.
when the old men would
snore. Yes. There's a few of those. Definitely a few of those in the Auburn
and the
Symphony.
nose blowing too.
Oh, yes.
And the crunching bottles of water.
Oh, that adds to the ambience. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
We paid good money for that. You understand?
Yeah. It was pretty bad. So we get good quality sound in the comfort of our own homes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But I think our favorite concert, though, was or the concerts we used to go to, were at the Saratoga Mountain Winery.
Yes.
Then when we saw Rodrigo y Gabriela.
Yep.
And the Secret Sisters.
Yes.
And who else? Nickel Creek?
Not Nickelback.
That place was pretty amazing.
For Northern California, yes. It was a beautiful place.
It was really pretty. Yeah. I miss going there.
So, how has your appreciation for quality playback influenced, how you view this, the stereo equipment?
Oh, I would say it's not really until you've experienced good quality that you really know what you're missing.
Right.
And that could be true with any aspect of life, really. I mean, the first thing I could think of is if the only burgers you ever ate were McDonald's Big Macs, and then all of a sudden you found yourself dining at some fancy restaurant, and you're looking through the menu, and you see this burger, it says Wagyu. Wagyu? I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, so you take your first bite of this big, fat, juicy burger, and it tastes so good. Right? Your mouth is watery. Right? And you think, well, how are you ever going to eat that Big Mac ever again?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
No, with the Big Mac.
So it's no different with audio gear. I mean, once you get a taste of that beautiful quality sounding music, there's just no turning back.
I would agree with that. I'm glad we can agree with that.
I may not know much about audio gear. I know I don't. Especially the technical part of it. But when you sit me down to listen to different pieces of equipment, different speakers, I can really tell the difference between the good sounding quality music and the bad.
No training whatsoever.
Yeah. I'll just be like, in the kitchen and making dinner, and he'll be listening to his music.
Again, that's not chauvinist.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not really paying close attention, but automatically I can tell that, a pair of speakers might sound bad or really bad or really good.
I'm not mentioning the brand she's saying.
We won't mention any names,
No.
right? Okay. No. So, but I was surprised when you sat me down to listen to that one set of speakers. I think it was like a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I could tell immediately that we were listening to some classical music, and I could tell immediately that the sound was not good enough. And it just, how would you describe it?
I distinctly remember you commenting when we were listening to the rodeo. It was the Billy the Kid. It was Copeland. We were listening to Billy the Kid.
That's right.
And you kept turning to me saying, there's stuff missing. It's not as big. It's not what we normally hear.
Yeah.
And you definitely were not a fan of those particular tower speakers that came from across the seas.
They sounded really muffled.
Okay, that's fair.
Just not as clear.
I definitely had to bring out the big guns and all my audio components to make them sound their best.
Yeah.
To help them sound better anyway.
But then once you hooked up the zoos
right
over here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. My ears felt much better.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess you've turned me into...
Sean Casey didn't pay her for that, by the way.
I guess you've turned me into an audio snob, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
This one's probably a little bit easier. So, which would you prefer in your home? A high quality 2-channel system or a high quality home theater system?
Oh, goodness. Do I have to pick? I don't think so. No. I have to have both. Why not both, right? Why compromise?
You heard that. You heard that.
Why compromise one for the other, right? We but we watch at least 1 to 2 movies every weekend. Mm-hmm. And we don't have cable TV.
Right.
Right. So we rely on watching good quality movies.
Okay. Well, the quality part's subjective.
I mean the audio part of it.
It can't always help the movies.
That's true. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad lately. Well, anyway.
Let's not get into that one. That's a whole different topic.
Well, so I think in our case, great quality movie audio is equally as important as, high quality 2-channel listening.
Right.
Because I think we spend as many hours, if not more, total, would you say, watching movies in comparison to listening to music?
No, not even close.
No? Okay. No. Well, I think they're both equally as important.
Okay. So, Amanda, do you have any advice for the other halves out there, the skeptics, when it comes to quality playback?
Yeah. Don't be such a tightwad. Don't settle for subpar quality sound. That's what I say. Like I always tell my daughter when I want her to try something new. Mm-hmm. Our daughter. Mm-hmm. My daughter, your daughter.
I would think so. I was there. Boy, was I there.
Like I always tell our daughter, when I want her to try something new, I say, how are you going to know if you like it or dislike it until you try it,
exactly.
Right? How are you going to know if you like or dislike it until you've tried it? Mm-hmm. And I think the same could be said for audio gear.
Okay.
It's ironic. We all have no problems spending tons of money on diet foods, gym memberships, and supplements.
Right.
Yet we neglect the one cure that has the potential to help reduce stress and depression and improve cognition.
Okay.
And it even can help to form new neuronal, that's a hard word to say, neuronal
Yes.
connections in the brain.
Right.
And I mean, can you imagine something so simple as listening to your favorite tunes could have the power to help heal and improve your well-being?
Right. Right.
It's pretty amazing. You know, it's funny because here I am talking about how boring and technical audio gear is.
Mm-hmm.
And
you do a lot of research.
love researching and I love listening to
TED Talks.
Yes. And I read a lot about neuroplasticity. I love science.
Yes.
So how can I call your stuff boring?
Thank you.
Sorry. So I guess we can find some common ground here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With the science involved.
So it's in the name of science.
All in the name of science. Then I'll be interested in it.
I know I'm not buying it still. I've seen that look when I start talking about specs.
What look?
Yeah.
My eyes are starting to glaze over.
Did I tell you the frequency range of these, by the way?
The frequencies on the brain waves?
Oh, yes, exactly.
Oh. Anyway. But neurologists, they continue to prove over and over again how beneficial music is on our brains.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you've read about that before.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it has the power to activate emotional memories, and which never seem to fade.
Right.
I mean, regardless of age or neurodegenerative disease.
Right.
So it's just, the music is just amazing. It's an amazing thing. And despite what Don McLean once sang, the music never dies.
Right. And I would add to that, as you've seen me do time and time again, I come home quite stressed out from work, and about an hour before bedtime, I'll plop down in front of the stereo and I'll turn it up at a pretty good clip, and doesn't matter if it's Rush, my prog rock, or whatever it is, or classical, it puts me into a position where I'm ready to go to bed. I've nodded off at playing Rush at 85 plus dB, and it's it's food for the soul, and it helps our minds come to ease, I should say.
Yeah,
So,
I think it helps you a lot with your stress levels
it
too,
does.
and helps you to unwind, like you said. Probably helps you to sleep better too, huh?
It helps me fall asleep faster, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
So it's an investment in my well-being, for sure.
I would agree. So why cheat yourself of the experience of having the best quality medicine that no doctor will ever prescribe?
Isn't that the truth? A question I hate to ask, because I know there's probably a likelihood I'm going to have to adhere to maybe something you may say after I ask this question, but I will ask it. So what advice do you have for the gear-obsessed husbands out there?
I would say to probably negotiate and work out a plan with your significant other on where is the best place in your home to set up the gear.
Well, it's not
and
in the front
system.
room?
And then plus if you have like extra gear, such as yourself, or parts, like Dave. Sorry, Dave. It's probably not a good idea to lay them out in the living room. What do you think? No comment. Well, personally, I don't like clutter. So I wouldn't appreciate my man leaving his toys all over the house. I already have to pick up after our daughter all the time, right? It's like worse than a dog. Okay, I'm getting off track. But I would work out an audio spending budget too. That's, unless of course in our situation where you're trading out gear constantly. So it's not like you're just buying, you're trading out gear. And what's so great in our situation so far is that you've been able to trade out gear without losing money. And in fact, in some cases, you've actually been able to gain a little bit of money from it too. It's actually increased in value.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. So I noticed that it seems like the gear doesn't seem to ever decrease in value, does it?
Well, I mean, that's why I obsess so much over buying it right and buying pieces that are of a certain age. I mean, there's a couple of pieces I did buy brand new, and I was very unhappy how much I lost my butt on them. And
that's true.
That's what stopped me from buying brand new pieces of gear and having no other way of experiencing what it was like with no demo program or no 60-day return policy. It makes it very difficult to buy new stuff.
Yeah.
And that really pushed me into not so much the older vintage gear, but anything that's pretty much from the 1980s to the early 2000s has already gone through about as much depreciation as it's going to. And so buying it right, even if I use it for a year or two, it's in many cases, like you've said, sometimes it actually goes up in value depending on how popular it becomes again. And I really enjoy looking for those pieces that gain in value over time. There weren't as many of them made, and becomes a new appreciation for what was top of the line 20 years ago and has been 100% depreciated. Now you can buy it for a quarter, a third of its original price.
Yeah.
And experience it without losing a ton of money like I did when I bought some new stuff. So.
Well, I mean, I was initially quite shocked at the price tags when you bought some of the speakers and audio gear. I
remember.
I was giving you a little bit of a hard time, huh? Yeah, 'cause I wasn't used to seeing those kind of price tags. Yeah.
Well, we're both new to it.
But as you sat me down and I began to hear the differences between the good quality and the bad quality gear, that's what kind of made the difference for me.
Yeah. Trial and error.
It kind of helped to reinforce or just kind of help me to understand, okay, this is why this gear costs so much more than say this other gear.
Right. It's been a couple of times where that's happened.
Yeah.
I've put in something that's really, really, really cheap and was not happy right away.
That's true.
And then with no training on your end, you noticed it immediately as well. For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So mapping out a budget.
Yeah, budget, and just kind of deciding, where in the home would be the best place to, store that. If you have extra gear, or where is the best place in the home to, set up your system too. I mean, because sometimes it works better in the living room, and then in other occasions it just depends on your home.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it might work better in a bedroom. It's going to be a little bit tricky in our house because we're going to have a bigger living room.
That's our future self's problem.
But we'll figure it out, right?
Right.
It's not a bad problem to have. Though.
No.
Yeah. But the other suggestion I would have is to figure out what music that your partner really enjoys and appreciates. And then maybe before you start boring them with all the techie talk, just shut up and turn on that awesome system of yours. Just let them relax and sit down and enjoy the beautiful music.
Okay.
And once they hear that high quality, sound and music that they enjoy too, that makes all the difference in the world.
So you're saying it has to be a genre they like.
Yes.
Oh.
Remember, it boosts, not serotonin, but dopamine levels, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Been
a fact.
proven.
That's a fact.
It is a fact.
Yeah. So you're naturally creating that mood thanks to your audio gear and the good quality of that audio gear, and in hopes that maybe one day they'll appreciate and enjoy and share in that same interest into that, what's it, audiophile?
Into the world of being
into
an
the
audiophile.
world of being an audiophile. Is that how you would say it? Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Okay.
I'm not so strict.
Into the audiophiles world, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to this next question. So, if for some darn reason I got hit by a truck or I was taken out of this world tomorrow, what in God's name would you do with all of this wonderful gear?
Oh my. Well, first of all, how would I move it, right?
There's that. There's a permanence to the gear.
It's kind of a dark question, don't you think?
Well, you have to ask that, just like anybody with a will. What would you do?
That's true. But it's a good question to ask. Well, I would immediately sell off all the gear and cash it out and go on a lovely European vacation. Just kidding. Love you, honey.
She didn't mean that.
I don't think you think I'm right. Do you know I'm kidding?
Hopefully I don't find out.
Well, I would honor your memory by keeping these lovely zoos over here.
Good choice.
And I think this Marantz is a lovely piece of gear as well. So I would definitely keep that too.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I need that one too.
Yes, you do.
I don't know what that one does, but I think I need it. Right?
So what you're saying is, before I go, I need to give you a very large instruction manual of how to turn all this stuff on.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, you should probably do it right away.
I don't think so. That keeps your hands off of it.
So I think it would definitely be worth my time and, reading over your manuals, of course, to figure out how to use this stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, we've been listening to this gear for such a long time and just, I've been so accustomed to the good quality sound that I would have to keep some of it, right?
I would hope so. I would hope you want to revert back to the little JBL pocket speaker.
No, that just wouldn't suffice.
Or the Oonce.
The Oonce.
Or your
Yeah.
favorite
Hey, that's
Oonce.
a pretty good little speaker.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is a pretty good Bluetooth
For,
speaker.
going camping.
Yes.
Right.
It comes in handy.
Yeah.
All right, woman. If there was something that you could change about the audio world, audiophiles world, audiophiles perspective, what could the guys do? What could we do, or the hobby in general, even the manufacturers? What could they all do to bring more women to the fold? What advice would you have for manufacturers and audio hobbyists in general?
Oh, that's a pretty tough question. It's kind of like asking me, well, how do you get more women interested in engineering or mechanics? Or how do we get more men interested in beauty and fashion industry? Though there's always those exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
Naturally, I think most women gravitate towards, certain interests and different interests than men do, and that's okay. But I think there's going to be a few women out there who may appreciate the technical aspects of the audio world.
Mm-hmm.
But in
very
general,
small number.
But a very small number.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and
far, anyway.
I mean, honestly, I'd like to think of an answer, but I really can't come up with one. One female, I forgot her name, in the that car repair show.
Oh, Constance Nunez.
Constance Nunez.
Yeah.
I think she was actually raised in that environment.
She was. Her father raised her in a mechanic shop.
And so I think, with exceptions like those, who knows? Maybe as Becky gets older and matures,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you'll be able to talk to her more and get her involved and kind of show her how everything works if
Right.
she's interested. And who knows? Maybe she'll grow up to develop that interest as well, kind of in the same way.
At least she enjoys classic rock already.
Yeah, she's really taken to music. She's really enjoying a lot of different varieties of music too, which surprises me. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I only listened to K-rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's all I ever listened to.
For you Southern California.
But Becky, she's been getting all sorts of music from us, and we sent her a bunch of music. So hopefully this will help her to, develop a love of audio gear.
Well, at least
good
exposure to the different genres.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although I don't think the feminist groups have addressed the vast gender gap within the audiophile world yet. Do you think they've talked about that yet?
I don't think that's a subject that they even touched. God forbid Gloria Steinman never wanted to touch audio gear.
Well, I think personally speaking, for me, I'm a pretty visual person.
You are?
Yeah. So my first impression will always be, how does the audio gear look?
Yeah.
I think most women will appreciate the visual appearance of audio gear if it looks good in their homes, if it goes with the decor.
So what you're saying is you really didn't care for the Tectons.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Although when you showed me Eric's speakers
Mm-hmm.
online, those were probably some of the most beautiful, attractive looking speakers I've ever seen. Those were really pretty.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on those in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
See what you think of them in person.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that the speakers have to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye, kind of like works of art,
So generally that means that they get more expensive.
Is that true?
Yes. The cabinets, the wood quality, the shapes, it gets exponentially more expensive for those types of speakers to blend with decor.
Okay. Especially if they're custom, right?
Custom, or as I showed you a couple of weeks ago, those crazy jewelry looking Dan Agostino amplifiers that were made in Scottsdale, Arizona, that had the copper rings. And remember those?
Yeah, that was pretty
at $25,000 for one component.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't say that.
Oh my gosh. Well, your pieces are beautiful though.
Yeah, the pieces I pick, I generally look for something that looks as aesthetically pleasing as it sounds for the most part. There's been a few exceptions, but as I move up scale with the gear, there's a couple of exceptions. The budget zoos are, we've both been able to equally agree on that we like the zoo look and sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you brought those red ones through the door, remember, I just immediately hovered over them, right? Oh, those are so beautiful, right?
Yes, yep. I knew they were staying longer.
Yeah. And then I realized that red's my new favorite color, not
so
the blue ones.
The blue ones the electric blue are out the door. Gotcha.
Yeah. Honestly, it bores me to listen to all the technical
jargon,
details
that's fair.
Of audio gear. And so I try to listen, and I really try, honestly.
Yes, you do. You're admirable.
Because I love you.
Just like when you talk to me about photography and vignetting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Or neuroplasticity and...
Well, that part doesn't bother me so much.
No, not so much? Okay. Yeah. All the technical aspects of it. I try to listen to, but I cannot. My eyes start to glaze over, honestly. So
just like the cars and the engines and the horsepower.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I think in order to get a female's attention, it might help to have a handsome man such as yourself present the gear. Or even better, I got an idea.
Okay.
How about if we have Henry Cavill come out and talk about, the speakers and the audio gear.
The freaking Witcher.
That would help.
I'm sure
that would definitely get the women's attention.
And you're going to be paying attention to the speakers, right?
Yeah.
God, woman. Unbelievable.
Oh. I'm helpless. Huh? That's why you love me.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, okay. I'll make you a deal.
All right. What is it?
If you want me to become an audiophile geek, okay, you can become a backpacking freak.
Well, I didn't think I should have agreed to this. I can do this beef jerky. This is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I have to admit. But when I'm done with the beef jerky, I didn't agree with this biodegradable toilet paper or that little shovel that you gave me.
Do you know where to go to the bathroom?
Are you going to draw me a map? Husbands, be careful what you agree to. Thanks, babe.
Love you.
Mwah.